When you think about everything that you would have to do in order to combat climate change, avoid the destructive climate change, it feeds very, very well into things such as energy security. And we import 60% of all the oil we burn right now, and it doesn't take an expert to tell you that it's coming from parts of the world where they don't like us very much.
We know we're going to have to adapt. We know we're going to have these changes. And you don't want to be seen as the most selfish generation of your time either, because you've been told that this is happening, you know that it's going to happen, and you just simply ignored it and said that's for future generations to worry about.
In the realm of alternate fuels, there's a lot of unexplored territory. I think it's an exciting arena right now. Look at all the investment money going into it. People think they're going to make money in it, and that's good, that's healthy. We need capitalism to bring us through this thing. But I think we also need to create the appropriate penalties on fossil fuel burning to incentivize alternatives.
A lot of people like to say, oh, the federal government really can't do this, or if it's intervening with markets, it'll just make things worse, it won't be what you want, it'll raise taxes, it'll do all these terrible bad things to you. And yet, think about the interstate highway system. Hardly anybody would say that it's a bad thing that we have interstate highways. Almost all of us use the interstate highways. We like to travel. Americans love to travel. We're very mobile people. Who built the interstate highway system? Who started that? Dwight Eisenhower. Why did he do it? Because he believed that the country would be more secure. It was a national security issue to have an effective highway system in which you could transport people and goods. And he launched that program in the 1950s, and it took about 30 years to complete. And that's a good analogy for us, because 30 years is probably about the amount of time we have to solve this problem. It doesn't have to be solved tomorrow, but it has to be begun tomorrow, because it will take 10, 20, 30 years to do.
If we are successful in the renewable fuels, we do something about climate change, we do something about our energy security, and we create tremendous opportunities for entrepreneurs and for a new set of jobs.
So what we want to do is marry good business with good planetary stewardship. And that's the doing well by doing good, which gets us started. And I'm glad to say that that's part of the reason why there's so much bipartisanship in the states on rules that try to have performance standards which have people be efficient.
We spend $300 billion a year ensuring access to oil in the Middle East. Well, it would be great if oil could become like salt. Salt used to be a very important commodity, and wars were fought over salt several centuries ago. And now salt is just an inexpensive commodity that people really don't have a great deal of interest in. We have the opportunity to do the same thing with oil.
We've only got one planet, and we don't really have another chance.